The kid gloves and the training wheels is not working. I want to play this, and I want to get back to it. Go ahead, Dove.
I thought he threw the ball great. I really did. I thought, look, he doesn't get a call in that inning and then makes the one mistake that turns into a 3-run homer where, kind of yanked the change up a little bit, and Ibanez got him. But really, outside of that, I thought he was excellent. And it's kind of what I told him. The line's not going to show it, but like we roll that out there every time. Carlos, we're going to be in a good spot. So thought he did a lot of really good things. Thought he was in control of the game. But again, that 3-2 call. Looked like right there, and then a hanging change or a yank change up a little bit that cost him. But I thought around that was excellent.
All right, so that was a little lengthy, but I wanted you guys to hear the whole thing. Now, that I don't want to hear that about a pitcher right now who's making a lot of money who always seems to melt. And I've defended Carlos Rodon. Every time this comes up, what means Sal's off, by the way, today. So hopefully back tomorrow. And wish him well. Dealing with some stuff as he's alluded to before on the air. So we're praying for Sal's family. God bless you, buddy. I got you. The notion that Carlos Rodon is not good or is not a bit of an asset to the Yankees, I think is ridiculous, because I think there's great value when you take the baseball, 28, 29, 30 times, and more times than not, give your team a chance to win, which is what Carlos Rodon generally does. And this is why I'm incredibly confounded with Carlos Rodon. I have zero problem with Carlos Rodon being in the rotation. Now, we could quibble about, is he really worth the money? Forget about that. He's got the money. We're not going to waste time on that. It's already done. It's signed. It is what it is. He's here, and he's got a couple of more years. I don't think he's that big of a problem or as big a problem as others. However, when it gets to that point, and you are a professional, you're a professional, man. You're not a 10 or a 12 or a 15 or an older high school kid going through a range of emotions. You've got to learn how to compartmentalize frustration and do your job. Now, listen, the last thing I want to do is go bonkers on a game that was played in snow, in 31-degree temps, in a brisk wind, in a desolate, dark, depressing stadium and state and city like Detroit. I really don't want to do that. And I got to be honest with you. I think if it was anybody else, I don't think that I would. I would say, all right, Yankees didn't really hit. Yankees a little sloppy on the bases. Ben Wright's getting picked off third base. A few other things that I did not like. Some defensive issues that have haunted the Yankees, or at least infiltrated the early part of the Yankee season, which I do believe they will clean up. But because it's Carlos Rodon, I can't ignore it. And the one thing that I've got to get, I will grant this concession. I will, and I have fought the Carlos Rodon fight. Hoff, you've heard it, you've seen it, you've been here for a part of it, you know this. I have defended him. I think that for the most part, his performances have been a little misrepresented. I think that it's a little hyperbolic by many when they tell me that Carlos Rodon is awful. He's obviously not awful, and the numbers obviously back that up. What I don't want, and this is the biggest problem, and this is the concession that I'm finally ready to make, I don't want him anywhere near a mound when the game really matters, or at least the time of the game in a high-leverage spot where one mental meltdown and one mistake and the game is over, or at least it seriously swings in the direction of the opposition. Because Carlos Rodon, who's out there with no shirt, trying to act tough, I don't understand that. Like, I get it if it's just, it's restrictive. I can't wear a shirt. Maybe I'm not trying to diss the guy, but, I mean, it's like he's trying to prove that he's tough. Dude, it's cold. It's okay when your skin gets impacted by, brisk air. It's not a problem. You can wear a T-shirt. So Carlos Rodon comes out and he projects this big, bad, tough guy image, and every time things get a little wobbly, I shouldn't say every time, but more times than not, Carlos Rodon melts. Carlos Rodon implodes. So again, was it today? I think today's April 8th. So yesterday was April 7th. It is early in the season. What is going to change with this man's demeanor that's going to give us confidence when, oh yeah, by the way, the games really matter, which for the New York Yankees is the playoffs? My answer is nothing. 888-808-1019. BT and Sound on the Fan inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Friends at Town Fair reminds you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. We are absolutely stacked today. I'll get to the Rangers. What a disaster. My God. The Knicks and the Celtics tonight. A little NCAA championship game from last night. The Mets continue not to hit but throw the heck out of it. Really, really busy show. But I would rather watch somebody go out there, honestly, guys, with inferior stuff and, try to plot his way through getting outs than somebody with highly above average and at times elite stuff. I know his fastball's a tick down, and that's because of the weather. Usually 94, 95. He's been more 92, 93. And if that doesn't change, that will be a bigger problem. For right now, I'm not incredibly concerned about that. But I have no tolerance for small-minded mental midgets. I can't stand it. And I don't always try to equate money to success. Some guys get overpaid. I lauded the Yankees for going out and getting Carlos Rodon. I wanted him. I know that there were some inconsistencies in his career. I thought his demeanor, or at least his mental toughness and pertaining to baseball, his fortitude was deeper and stronger than it is. And I don't mean when you're cruising and, you put up a couple of zeros. I mean the first blue base hit, the first error by an infielder, the first bad call by an umpire. Like, dude, I've seen my son get more. My son is 10, and he gets frustrated on the mound. Overcome it, dude. What are you, 31 years old? You've been around forever. So you miss a strike in the bottom of the zone. I know that was a strike, but get over it. And again, it's not because they lost on April 7th. It's because Carlos Rodon, without Garrett Cole, and certainly for a little longer without Luis Gil, is going to have to step up and going to have to be a whole hell of a lot better than he's been so far. Again, it's a couple of starts. I don't want to go nuts. It's not the results, guys. Listen, I'm not even stressed about that. It's that you could just see the slow unwinding, like the slow inner mechanical and mental breakdown. You can see it. This isn't year one. This is year 3. And year 1 was peppered with a lot of those visible frustrations, which really led to his undoing and led to many of you jumping off the Rodon boat. I didn't. I was a believer in his stuff, and I still am. I am not a believer in his ability to focus on his job when it's time to get the job done. All right, let's get to the calls. Obviously, we'll mix in all the stuff here on a busy Tuesday. BT and Sal on the Fan. 888-808-1019. John's in Bayonne. Johnny, what's cooking?
Oh, BT, I'll tell you right now, you hit the nail on the head. It's the mental game with him, the mental game. He's got to get himself some kind of therapist or something, just like Stroman. Get their mind out of the clouds when things don't go their way and concentrate instead of getting 2 guys on bases. Then he loses it, gives up the big home run. Yeah. And he can't do that. But he's got the tools. Yeah. But the thing is, the mental tools are not there. And you hit it right on the head. I love him. I think he's a gutsy pitcher. I'll take him any day. He's worth it to be on the staff. But the mental attitude, it's got to change. If he doesn't get the call, he gets his frustration in him. Yep. Next minute you know, he gives up the home run. Yeah. And you hit it right on the head.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't think I deserve an award for that. I think it's the easiest thing to see when you watch him pitch. You're a Yankee fan. You watch Carlos Rodon pitch. You know what the Carlos Rodon experience is all about. For an hour plus, an hour and 15 minutes, I mean, he could look like a Cy Young winner. And then there's those 8 or 9 minutes that almost always infiltrate games, particularly if something doesn't go his way. And again, that was a strike. That was a strike. There's no doubt. Suck it up. You got to work past it. So I don't know how you, I mean, I think you can certainly, well, if you couldn't change in life, why would there be such outlets as therapy and other things to make yourself better and to change things about yourself that you don't like? I believe that you can change up until the day that you die if you're committed to doing it. But I do think your athletic temperament's a little different. So, like, it's one thing, you know, me and Sal always joke about our wives. Like, if my wife's like, all right, you need to work on this, and I really commit to working on it, I believe that I can change that. I believe it's different from an athletic prowess perspective. I'm not saying that you can never change. I just think it's a lot harder. I don't have great faith in Carlos Rodon, in the next month, in the next year, in the next 2 years of being anything different that he's been so far as a Yankee. And that is a bit mentally unstable. That is at times electric. Again, you guys know the Carlos Rodon experience. And if he had average stuff, I wouldn't waste my time leading the show with him. He's got elite stuff. Just melts down. Eric's in Rivervale. Eric, BT and Sound on the Fan. What's up, buddy?
BT, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. How you feeling?
Well, if I, was a Yankees fan and had to watch Rodon yesterday, I'd be far better. And I think, you hit all the points. And I knew what we were going to get from Rodon before the game even started, before he threw the first pitch. And the reason is because the circumstances were what they were, right? The weather was terrible. I mean, it was freaking snowing, for God's sake.
Uh-huh.
So you knew the circumstances weren't perfect. So when that stuff happens, whether it's we need him and the moment matters, right? The game matters the most.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into those situations, he melts. Always. So I knew out of the gate we were going to be in a hole. And sure enough, what's he do? He gives up the 3-run homer. We're in the hole out of the gate, first inning, second inning. And we're fighting and clawing the whole way. And this whole narrative that he's a gutsy pitcher, I don't know where that came from, because to me, he's the antithesis of a gutsy pitcher. We need him so he stays in these games, but he doesn't gut out these performances at all.
Yeah, Eric, you know what he is? He's in a lot of ways, Eric, he's a front runner. And thanks for the call. He is a front runner. He's like the golfer who's on a birdie barrage, and then all of a sudden he gets doubled and the wheels are off and he's done. And he goes from the top of the leaderboard to the second page of the leaderboard rather than finding a way to stabilize and grind out a par and a hustle bogey and eventually mix in a birdie or two and get yourself back on track. He's a front runner. Yeah, he looks the part. He's physically strong and he competes and he does have good stuff. And I really do, like with Carlos Rodon, it's not about him wanting to do well. And there's been guys that have played in this city for all the teams that we root for, right? Where we're like, man, does this dude even want to be here? Does this guy even want to wear this uniform? I would never say that about Rodon. I do think that he really wants to be great. I think it's a bigger issue because I don't think he has learned at this advanced state of his career how to get out of his own way. And I don't know how you change that midseason. Could you imagine, think about this. Can you imagine Carlos Rodon at the apex of the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry on a Sunday night in Boston with 38,000 lunatics, and I'm talking about Big Papi and Manny and Veritek facing that lineup, blue base hit, there's a walk, there's a bad call. He'd lose his mind.
He turned it to Jack McDowell, give everyone the middle finger.
Jack the Ripper. Hey, he might. Well, he tried to. Let go his first year with the in Anaheim. BT and Sound on the Fan. 888-808-1019. Let me get Mark in Brooklyn. Mark, what's happening? Hello,
BT,
Mark.
how are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
BT.
Yeah.
My least favorite argument is, well, you know what? It's a little cold. His velocity is going to pick up. BT, we're both Northeastern guys. When was the last time it was 75 and sunny in October in the World Series? When this counts, his velocity might not be up. So at the end of the day, all these Rodon supporters, he's got to step up. He's got to be better. I do focus on what he's getting paid because of the budget that we have. Like, we think about maybe trading for a Sandy or, you know the names better than I do, trading for some guys.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to do that with all we've invested in our pitching? I think Sal made the point. How much more are you going to invest, BT? At some point, you either step up or you don't. And I think, not to cross over the subject, but it's kind of, we're both big Knicks fans. It's kind of what we're facing with the Knicks right now. Is it's not even addition. It's more the guys you have either got to step up or, all right, you'll win a series, you'll play around a little bit, and then you'll get knocked. BT, have a good show.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, Mark. Good call. Yeah, and we'll get to the Knicks later. The regular season's been what it's been. It's 50 wins, and that's fun, but we'll do a little Knicks-Celtics later. Yeah, I look at this Knicks team, and I'm like, they don't look like a championship team. They haven't felt like that to me all year, and I really hope that I'm wrong, but I voiced that from the first week of the season. You guys know that. Me and Sal have gone back and forth on that. Certain things you can look at fairly early and get a sense, not that it's always accurate. You could be misled. And there could be surprises. It's sports. They're not robots. I get that. But my sense with the Knicks is kind of also my sense at this point with Rodon in big moments. And that's what's very confounding about him. There's value with Rodon because this Yankees lineup is going to hit enough. The bottom third of the order has the highest OPS in baseball. Do you guys know that? The Yankees 7, 8, 9 hitters. And that doesn't include Ben Rice, who's batting, first and hitting 340, although you can't get picked off. And that's another RBI opportunity for Judge. The Yankees are going to score runs. Bellinger hasn't even hit yet. So they're going to score. So when you have an offense that's going to score runs, as the Yankees will, there's great value in having somebody that's going to give you a chance to win by putting up a couple of zeros over the course of 5 or 6 innings. Now, even if you give up 2 or 3 in one of those innings, like Rodon often does, the chances to win are still heightened because of the other stuff that he does, which is really good. It's just, I think I would even, God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think I'd rather have Stroman on the mound in a big spot more so than Rodon. Definitely Clark Schmidt when he gets back. Definitely Luis Hill when he gets back and if he's healthy and he's right. Obviously Garrett Cole when he's right and when he's healthy. Even when he's not right, because he's pretty much always right. But Garrett Cole healthy is no doubt. Of all the Yankee pitchers, isn't Rodon the one guy? And I don't mean over the course of 31, 32 starts. I mean once things start to go the other way a little bit, he just gets so wobbly where he cannot find his way, and it is very disturbing if you're trusting this guy to help you win a World Series. Let me get Will out east on Long Island. Will, BT and Sal, what's up, buddy?
What's going on? Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
You're kind of spot on with the whole Carlos Rodon stuff, but I was listening to callers. I thought he was fine yesterday. 8 Ks in 5 innings. Yes, he made the one mistake, but like you said, the minute something goes awry, he begins to unravel. And you saw it yesterday when he cut the pitch he didn't agree with. He goes, that's bad, and the next at-bat's a home run. You could tell. But I will not stand for the Carlos Rodon disrespect because he's an elite pitcher when he's on, and 8 Ks in 5 innings, I think he's a very, very, very good pitcher. And he was not supposed to be the ace of this staff. If everybody's healthy, he's not starting in the playoffs. You got Fried, Heel, and Schmidt. And then
Will, hold on. Now, first of all, I don't think it's Carlos Rodon disrespect. I think it's Carlos Rodon honesty. If you interpret that as disrespect, that's your interpretation. But I don't think that's what I'm espousing because I've said many times I think he's got value. I just don't want him in there when things start getting wacky because he's a mental midget. That's why.
Right, but for you to compare him to Stroman, Stroman can't miss bats. Stroman's got to pitch to the edges. He's got to pitch to contact. Carlos Rodon has elite swing and miss stuff. To compare the two, that's an insane comparison.
Well, I don't think it is. Listen, I don't think it is, and thanks for the call there, buddy. Now, again, I am a huge Clark Schmidt fan, and I remember saying that early last year. I'm like, this guy, he would have been an all-star if he didn't get hurt. We know that, okay? So to say, though, that Clark Schmidt is supposed to take the baseball in front of Carlos Rodon in the postseason, says who? I haven't heard Aaron Boone say that. And I don't always equivocate the money to the expectations, but he's making almost $200 million. You're damn right you're supposed to get the baseball in the postseason. What, are you kidding me?